I met Dave about 4 years ago. My first business cracked 7 figures, and it was actually an interesting time to meet Dave because I oftentimes say you can't just be wealthy overnight. You actually got to have somebody to teach you the game. And DA kind of stepped in and took me and my business partner under his wing and showed us how to kind of maneuver this very dangerous game that we play called business. And within 6 months, DA was actually able to help us obtain a $200,000 line of credit. And then 6 months after that, he actually helped us secure a $3 million line of credit that we were able to obtain in real estate.
After sitting down with David and going through some ideas and some concepts, in the first 6-7 months, I think we did roughly about $10 million together. It's an exceptional program, and David did something for me that no one else had ever done. He taught me the power of global expansion and really understanding the importance of an international network and how we can build on that network. Him and I have done projects that surpassed the $20-30 million mark. My life has changed in more ways than one for the better from the development of our relationship. And I'm just so happy that you have brought me in to the fold and have shown me how important the power of a network is.
Welcome to another episode of 1 Million Black Men. Thank you, guys. We're a little bit delayed today, but that's okay. We were working through some different kinks on some stuff on the back end. I know folks are coming in. Really excited about today. We're actually going to do some things and kind of keep it pretty quick and pretty simple today. I know emails and texts and everything are going out, but I want you guys to be aware of what we're talking about today. So today, we are going to get into the monster of what I call, we've been doing this series about the different kind of sins of business. We've been talking about the sins of business, right? The things that you want to avoid, things you don't want to do as you're on your own, the business journey that you're on, things that you want to make sure you try to not do and not say. But today I want to talk about a topic because something came out this weekend, and it came out about the topic of actually something I was very heavily involved in earlier in my career, very heavily involved. So I was very excited to see what happened in the area of student loans. And so I'm going to talk about student loans. We have a couple things to go through. Again, for our international people who are watching, this episode is very American-based in the context of American student loans. So if you have someone in your family, you have someone in your life who you feel who's going to be coming to America to go to college or be looking at schools, you want them to tune into this episode we're talking about college and student loans. And again, I might do a 2-part because there's really 2 parts to this whole thing. And I want to make sure you're educated about it. Let me just kind of start with, first off, I want to go to the chat. Welcome, everybody. If you're in the building, say hello. Say hello. I know as folks are coming in, a text and the emails were a little bit delayed today, but as they're going out. But I want to just kind of go through a couple things so everybody here is aware of this whole student loan thing. So over the weekend, there was a bunch of things that came through about student loans being forgiven. So I want to tell this story. One of my first companies I ever started was in the student loan space. What I did was, at the time, I was working at financial firms, and it was amazing because we were here managing billions of dollars. We were managing, and I could not understand how was it that we were managing billions of dollars with these families and financially doing all this stuff, but nobody understood student loans. Right? Literally, we understood derivatives. We understood the stock market. We understood bonds. We understood puts and calls. We understood options. We understood, global financial institutions. But literally, I was having friends asking me, hey, can you help me with student loans? Right? And literally, nobody was like educated on student loans, how they worked or how they operated. And so that put me down a path to start to investigate the area of student loans and the areas of college. Today, I want to talk about the area. Welcome, everybody. Dexter, Keith, thank you, brothers. Like, I want to talk about today, particularly, I want to talk about, right, the student loan side, and I'll also get into the college side, right? So there's basically two sides to the game of college in America. And if you're international, you need to know this, understand this, okay? One side of it is what I call college, and it's the education, okay? Okay? And the other side is, you know, we say college or university, right? And it's the finance and the business side of it, okay? All right. And what this means is that college is effectively, yes, there's this education piece where it's about curriculum, it's about the, you know, the academy, right? But then the other side of it, there's this business and finance side to it that a lot of us don't know about, or we're not taught about, or don't fully understand. Even those who are becoming professors, I have found, don't really understand the finance and business side of college. And so I want to kind of go through this. It's probably will be two parts. I don't want to keep these long. These are going to be very good informational sessions. Matter of fact, I'm going to have this video when our team does the thumbnails and everything else. I'm going to advise that if you have somebody who is going to college or who just went to college or high school students in the future, this be a video that you show them so that they can understand this. But college and university has two sides to it. There's education and business and finance, right? So here I was at one of the largest financial institutions in the world, and nobody in finance understood student loans. And what was very interesting about the finance business side of college is that student loans literally were like, the best way I could describe it as I started to study it, they were like a very sophisticated credit default swap, okay? A very sophisticated financial instrument wrapped in about 2,000 pages of regulation, okay? This is what student loans are, right? A financial derivative, like a credit default swap, wrapped in 2,000 pages of regulation. Hey, if you're here, everybody, say what's up in the chat. Say hello, right? As I'm talking, say hello, everybody. That was wrapped in student, like this regulation, and we were giving them to 18, 19, 20-something year olds. Now, what was shocking to me was crazy was that for those of us who have bought homes or you own real estate, when you go to a real estate closing, right, and you buy a home, everybody knows this, right? You get a literal, just using some random paper here, you get a packet, okay, of documents this thick, right? All the disclosures that you have to do in order to buy a house. How many homeowners do I have in the chat? Real quick. If you're a homeowner, put a 100 in the chat. If you bought real estate, put a 100 in the chat, right? You bought a home and literally you sat there for like an hour doing what? Going through page by page, right? Sign this, initial this, sign this. This is what this is. This is what that is. This is what this is, right? Do you understand? You can get $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 in student loans, and literally they hand the student, hold on, they were handing the students one piece of paper and saying, sign here. If you took out student loan debt, real quick, if you put down our student loan debt and you don't even remember the document you signed, put another 100 in the chat. Put a 100 in the chat, right? Put a 100 in the chat. Like I stepped into a world, I never forget it. I stepped into a world where it was like, yo, wait up. Like, what is going on here? And I was meeting people, hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt, lawyers, Harvard lawyers, you know, cats who went to Yale, working on Wall Street, people working in big law firms, smart people. And they had student loans, and they were like, you know what? I'm just going to make the payment because I don't want to default, right? Whatever it is. So let me pull back the curtain real quick. I can do this. I was a part of this work. My back office team if you can cue that video, if you can, let me know if you can cue the video that I sent over to you earlier, because I want to let people know just a little bit of a younger David. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, you might see I did actually an interview with Fox News. At the time that I was in the student loan space, I was probably about one of 3 or 4 people in the entire nation that actually really understood how student loans worked. This is a true story, guys. I was a part of a handful of people that actually understood how student loans actually worked. What was so crazy about it, I had a college president of one of, I would say, the top 10, definitely top 20, top 10 universities in the country. So you can imagine which school that was, right? I swore to him I would never say who it was. Swore to me when he told me about some information that I would never share the information, because I could not understand why college costs had increased so much. So in our studies, as they're cueing the video for me, I had discovered that over the past 25 years, this was like 2010 or 12, something like that, student loans and the cost of college, right? The cost of college had risen faster than inflation, faster than inflation, food, faster than healthcare. And everybody knows how fast healthcare has risen, right? The cost of college has surpassed all of them. And it didn't make any sense to me, because classroom instruction, like the cost of college had increased by like 400, 500%. Okay, right? But instruction in the classroom, this is going to help some people out. I know some folks in here, you either got student loans or you got some people in your life with student loans. So please share this video after this. It had risen so fast, it didn't make sense to me. So I was like, the numbers don't make sense. Instruction has only increased by 6%, meaning that adding staff to the classroom is only increased by 6% over the last 20-something years, right? And I'm looking at, facilities. I'm like, well, no, these are capital campaigns, and they're taking out loans to do these facilities. There's a whole financial division of banks and financial institutions that do the loans when it comes to dormitories, athletic centers, all of that stuff. So that's not, I'm like, why is college so high? It didn't make any sense to me. And this is what I was told. So I'm sharing it with you. What I was told by this top 20 president was this: David, we can actually afford to be lower. The problem is that if Harvard's tuition is $80,000 a year, although I could afford to be $40,000 a year, I have to be around $80,000 because we consider ourselves in the same league as Harvard or Oxford or Stanford or whatever Oxford you want to talk about, right? I said, wait, time out. He said, David, the problem is that it's the way that university presidents judge themselves and how the system works. He said, the problem is that when I sit down, how do you know who has the biggest you-know-what? Who's the big kahuna on campus, right? If you sit down with different college presidents or college leaders, who's the big dog on campus? And they judge it by 2 ways. You should know this. They judge it by the cost of their tuition, and they also judge it by the size of their endowment. So not the graduation rate, right? Not the success rate of the alumni. No. They judge it by how big is your endowment and what is the cost of your tuition. So although many of these colleges could actually afford to be lower in price, they do not do that, because if they consider themselves in a certain league of colleges, they have to be priced at a certain level because they're marketing to the top 1% to 2% of people around the world. With that, I'm going to have them start the video. Hey, if that was good information, y'all, put a 100 in the chat. Give me a 100 in the chat, a 100 in the chat. Like, I was shocked when I found this out. I was like, oh my, right? So we're going to play this video real quick for everybody. check it out. Listen to this video. It was a news interview I did some time ago. A little bit of younger David. You know what I'm saying? I still look this is my thing, but a little bit of a younger David. My team, are we ready on the back office? I want to interview. I go through, and you can knock that out. All right. So we ready? Ready? Let's go. They're going to share it. Is it ready?
411. Thank you so much, David, for coming in.
Thank you.
Saw you out the other
Absolutely.
day. We're friends in social media as well. Saw you out the other night, and we were talking about this, how some lawmakers say that helping people out of this student loan situation, out of the debt, it would be a hazard, moral hazard.
Yes, right.
What is that? What does that mean?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's as we speak about this issue across the country, some people feel that student loans are something that you took on, that it's your responsibility, and that there should be no help to get out of it. But we do know that college costs has increased by 500%.
Exactly.
Faster than inflation, faster than healthcare, faster than food. So there are opponents who want to programs that exist. They want to see them cut. They want to see it reduced.
So it's your fault. Moral hazard. That's what that means.
That's right.
Huh? It's
That's
your
right.
fault.
Yep.
Okay. So there
For
are a lot
getting
of
an
things.
education.
Okay, for getting an education.
Yep,
Thank
right.
you so
Yep.
much.
Yep.
Let's talk about student loans.
Yeah.
A lot of things that people know, a lot of things that people don't know, a lot
Right.
of things that we misunderstand with
Yeah.
this. Talk to us a little bit about the process.
Yeah, so the student loan process, I mean, the biggest thing that's misunderstood about student loans is that you're taking on this money and that it's free.
Right.
Right?
Right.
They even use words like you get a refund check. No, it's a loan, right?
It's a loan.
So the biggest thing people have to think about is affordability, right? Can I actually afford the education which I'm taking on? That's one of the biggest misconceptions out there, is that I'm just going to get this money, I'm going to go to school, and I'm going to leave, and everything's going to be okay. Right? That's one of the biggest misconceptions.
So how can people avoid making some of those mistakes? Because we hear, I mean, the nation is how much in debt with student loans?
$1.3 trillion.
$1.3 trillion.
$1.3 trillion.
So how can they avoid some of the mistakes?
Well,
not just the students, but parents, grandparents, even people who co-sign on some of these loans.
Yeah, sure. So the way you can avoid the mistakes is you need to treat the student loan product as if you were getting a mortgage, right? When you get a mortgage, and people have been through this process, I mean, there are brokers involved, there's truth in lending, all these things involved to help you understand the financial product that you're getting into. And so what we find with student loans is that all those consumer protections, Darlene, have been completely stripped. So there's no truth in lending, right? Fair debt collection doesn't apply. Statute of limitations doesn't apply. So you have to be very careful, right, when you take on this student loan product.
Let's talk about this federal guarantee out there. What is that? And is that something that's out there to help protect us? I'm going through the process right now. My son is going to be graduating from high school.
This is what's interesting about the federal guarantee. So student loans, federal student loans, are guaranteed 97% principal and accrued interest, right? So the lenders on these loans, particularly those before 2011, they don't take really any risk because it's guaranteed.
Right.
So their goal, in many cases, is to have you pay the loan as long as possible and pay as much as possible. Because at the end of it, if you default, if you die, you get on disability, they get a lump sum payment.
And that's one loan that it's just like the IRS. You cannot file that.
You cannot file bankruptcy.
Right.
You cannot do it. It is, you're stuck with it.
And let me ask you this. During the elections, we were talking, Senator Dick Durbin was just talking about how, mortgages can be refinanced, car loans can be refinanced, but student loans can't. He's trying to do what he can. Is this going to be realistic?
So, of course, there's a lot of debate about this right now. Yes, Senator Durbin and Elizabeth Warren put a bill forth to help refinance your student loans. It would help millions of Americans. Right now, student loan rates are about 6.87%. The regular rate right now for mortgages are what, 4.25?
Exactly.
Right? So you would save a ton of money, but in order to do that, we would have had to raise taxes on the wealthiest Americans. Some people didn't want to do that. So, because with student loans, it's kind of a zero-sum game. If you take out money in one place, you got to fill it back in.
Right.
This is a $1.3 trillion problem. So, yeah, that's what's going on there.
And they will track you down. To get
They will
that
track
money.
you down.
Yes, they
You
will.
will not get away from it. Yeah.
David, for people at home that want more information about student loans, 411.
Yeah.
What's
Student
your
Loan
website?
411 is a student loan consultancy and advisory firm. You can go to the.
It's over. All right. Let's see. Am I back? Let's go back. All right, everybody. Excellent. Hope you guys can hear me. Let me see. How do I get my team? How do I get myself back to full screen. I don't know how to do that, so you guys do that for me. Thank you. All right. Thank you. All right. So, quick interview. I just want you guys to know I'm not blowing smoke. I actually was in this space heavy. I did a lot of work in this space. So, I want to go through real quick a couple quick things just so you have this. Take it with you, and then you can be more empowered and educated in the space. All right. So, the finance business side of it. So, if you're looking at spaces, I want you to understand number one. Understand the business side of colleges. So, they have what we call a list price. Understand that colleges have something called their list price. So their list price, right? Let's say the list price is, $50,000, right? That's their list price, okay? Now, there are some people who are going to come in the door and they got the bag. They don't care. I'm paying 50 grand. I want Johnny to go to school, whatever the case is, right? But remember, this is a service, right? Education itself is a product, but it's a service product, right? So therefore, you have the list price, but you also can knock down that price. You knock down that price through, right? Hold on, let's watch this. You ready for this? Okay. You probably never knew this. In many cases, I bet you thought for years that when they talked about a certain scholarship, you thought, oh, like somebody took some money and gave me some money. That's not true, right? It's a discount. Okay? The discounts happen through scholarships, okay? Awards, right? And other means. So what they do is that you have a specific discount that exists, right? A specific list price, and then they start to discount your tuition based upon other factors, right? Need-based awards, scholarships, and things like that. And that's why you're like, yo, I'm supposed to pay $50,000 a year, and you go, whoopee. If I get a GPA, I'm going to pay $30,000 a year, and everybody's happy, right? But really what it is, some of that stuff is not actual cash coming into your pocket, or it's not cash against your tuition, right? It's actually just a discount. So they say, hey, we're going to give you a scholarship of $10,000. You go, whoopee, but really it was just a discount. Does that make sense, everybody? That makes sense? Okay. So understand that on the business of college, they have a list price. So their list price is their top price, and then there's discounts given according to the situation. That's why as a parent, right, or uncle, whoever it is, you got to go in there when they give you an award letter, right? They call it an award letter, and you got to go in there and you got to like start to talk and fight and ask for the discounts and ask for scholarship and ask for awards, so they bring down that list price, especially after you've been accepted, right? Okay. The second thing you have to understand is there's a rule, okay? Okay, there's a rule. And they call it first year, first time freshman. Okay? First time, first year freshman. These are the most valuable people in the college system. So they have something called, when you look at graduation rates, when you look at their default rates of student loans and everything else, right? There's a first year, first time freshman, right? That you are never more valuable than you are the first school or the first time or the first year you are a freshman, because you're going to get the most money, the most discounts, the most scholarships, the most awards in your first year, in your first time being a freshman. Okay? So the connection, connected, guys. Make sure it's still. Hey, let me know if you can see me. If you can see and hear me, please. If you can see and hear me, let me know. There's some windstorms happening, and my connection's getting kind of weak. Let me know you can hear me. Please in the chat say, hey, we can hear you, just to make sure you can hear me, because there's some connection issues happening right now. Right? Okay. All right. So your first year time freshman is your most valuable time. So the people, you need to let them know, right? It's very important that first time, the first year that whatever school, they have to get as much money or get the best deal you can. When you're a transfer student, if you switch schools, once you're junior, whatever the case is, okay, they are not as interested in you. Now, when you get to your senior year, okay, your senior year, they also would throw more money at you to make sure that you graduate, especially graduating on time or graduating because you're very close to graduation, which also helps their numbers, right? So please understand the business. Your first year, first-time freshman. That's why I am an encourager, okay? I am an encourager that sometimes people take a leap year. What is a leap year? When you graduate high school and you take a year off. Some people say, no, I'm okay if the person does not know what they want to do, if they're kind of lost and stuff like that. Listen to me, parent, grandparent, whoever you are, right? Listen to me. And the student, listen to me. I'm okay with that because, right, I'd rather you wait a year instead of wasting your status as a first-time, first-year freshman. I'd rather you wait a year than waste your status, because this status is very important because you get all the awards, all the scholarships when you're in this status, okay? And also note, especially for those who are adults and you're paying for this, you don't want your money being wasted, right, when they don't really know what they want to do or they're not serious about college yet. It's just not smart, okay? It is not smart at all. Number two, okay? The third thing, all right? Okay? Please understand, right? Please understand. And I'm going to say this as much as I can and as easy as I can, okay? Right? Understand the dormitory, okay, on campus is a racket. Okay? Okay? Dorms on campus is a racket, okay? Things are overpriced. The dorms are overpriced. Everything, like, it's a racket. And I know sometimes we want our children or nephews or whoever, we want them to have that college experience, right? The college experience, right? Being on their own, doing all that stuff, everything else. If you want that for your child or for somebody, right? I'm not against it. I'm not against it. But please understand that is a racket, right? From the meal plan to the, the cost of books, to the cost of activities, to the cost of everything, right? Being on campus, it's a lot of money to be on campus. So when you're looking at this thing, you want to also always add in, right, the cost of being on campus. So I talk to parents, they're like, yo, oh my gosh, the tuition was $50,000. Now the tuition is $20,000. Man, they saved me $30,000. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. And then they get the dorm bill. And the dorm bill is $20,000. Okay? Like, you got to calculate, right? You got to calculate on campus. If you want your child to go that route, on campus is a very, very expensive proposition when it comes to the business and the cost of college and university life, okay? All that, right? Number 4, and I'm going to close this out with this. And I know this is called 1 Million Black Men, but this is for everybody. I want to encourage this piece to this, okay? Okay? Please, right? Please negotiate your offers with colleges at the same time. So when you get your offer letters, right, you should be letting those other colleges know, just like you would be doing a job offer, you should be letting them know what the other colleges are offering. you should be letting them know this. You should be sending them your award letters from other schools so that you can get into a little bit of a bidding war, especially if you have a student that's of quality. Okay, right? Because you want them to kind of go what, especially if it's a school that they consider in their league. Okay, if they're a top 20 school or a top 10 school or a top 50 school, at that point they're fighting for the talent. Remember when I say first year, first time freshman, please use these offers and negotiate and use them against the other at the same time. And I got one more thing I want to leave with you guys. This is number 5. I just want to give this as an extra for it. Please consider international colleges. Them schools overseas, schools in Europe, schools in Brazil, schools in other places. Hopefully they have the same language in China. And you can go international. And a lot of those schools tuitions are low. You can pay the first year, right? The first year they go, they probably have to pay it. But after that, didn't see there and they school. There's a lot of places to go for, like Austria, other places, where a college education is for the most part, right? And please consider international colleges for yourself, but also consider them for those around you and those that love you so that you can get the best deal. Hey, next time we talk, I'll bring this back sometime. We'll get into the education side. But hopefully this segment was very helpful, giving you an understanding of college, universities, how it all works, list price, first freshman. The on-campus is a racket, okay? Please negotiate your offers with colleges at the same time and also consider international colleges. Man, look, this is David Anderson, 1 Million Black Man. I am here to help free you psychologically, number 1. Number 2, economic freedom and financial freedom. What is financial freedom? It is helping us when we can buy whatever we want. Economic freedom is when we own the things that everyone else buys. Hey, and also lastly, we want to set up ourselves for wealth creation for 7 generations. Again, as wealth creation for 7 generations for our ancestors and for those that come around behind us. Man, I love this segment. I love what I'm teaching the guys. I hope that you guys learn something. If you learn something real quick, give me a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you learn something from this. This stuff is like secrets behind the table and everything else, man. But I appreciate you guys showing up every week, assisting me, helping making me better, everything. Love you guys. With that, you know, as I always say, hey, I'll see you at the top because the bottom is just way too crowded. Peace.
Calling all black men. This is a call to action. This is a call to action. An action call. Calling all black men. This is a call to action. This is a call to action. An action call for 1 million black men. I am Kwesi to put you on a call path to win. This is not a Zoom call or a call on Facebook Live. Though we are virtual, we are live. Not a call on TikTok like MLB black men, we are on the clock. Not a call from Snapchat. Move back my bat. We are on first base to Isaac Hayes Jr. fan base. We have an eye on third base. Grand Slam, not a call from Instagram, as we don't need validation with blue checks. We are the true checks. We do checks. We write checks. We are the right checks. We do family checks. We check in on our sons and our daughters. We are black men who walks on waters because our children like to place time. We are black men who FaceTime. Let's FaceTime. This is still not a call from an Android or an iPhone. It is extraterrestrial to phone home. I know sometimes black men, we have to travel around the world to be appreciated at home. But you are not alone. You are in the each one, teach one green zone, where the elusive weapon is the truth. We are the black truth. We are Paul Pierce, the truth. We are the loot. We are 1 million black men strong. We will get along as we landline. We walk across their blue and red line. Now this call is from a landline with rotary numbers and a coiled cord. We are 1 million black men on one accord. This cord and phone transmits a dial tone, whether a local call or a call of long distance. Regardless of the distance, it connected us. Social media unconnected us. Our homes need us. They soul feed us. And not just food that give us niggas itis. I write this, our homes bleed, sweat, tears for us. Black men, it is up to us. It is on us, not to just procure the bag. Buddha bless one, share it with me. Get the info under your afro, bro. And establishing sovereignty to be a one united bank for economic just us. Black men, we must set up a family trust to an estate, because right now everything is at stake. Because we can't lead from behind, from your behind to your mind. They are public with their relevance as they use artificial intelligence in this age of information. Elon Musk bought Twitter to gather more of our information. So if I have to be the Starlink, I will break the Starlink for 1 million black men. But I won't condone our culture with misuse of our information. So I grant you David Anderson for this financial literacy education. DA went from shy Southside streets to JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs on Wall Street. From Chicago State to Harvard. At 19, he fathered the economics in his family house. DA served in President Obama administration at the White House. He lived in China for 3.5 years, learning the Chinese economy, the renminbi. To the British pound, black men, let's get this pound. To the European euro, we NBA step into the euro. To the Uganda shilling, black men, let's be empowered by our billing and be willing to learn and understand. Money is just a tool to build unshakable wealth. 7 generations deep that DA will teach that we can compete in an economy beyond that's local. Black men, we must think global. So I present to you David Anderson to put you on this financial literacy path to win. Welcome to the movement. 1 million black men.